How I completed the English Learning Challenge in 10 days, 8 T8s. Hi, my name is Ram, and this is the true story of how I completed an English Learning Challenge in just 10 days. It was not easy, but it changed my life. Day 1. The beginning. One evening, I was watching a YouTube video. A man said, "If you learn English, you can speak to the world." That line hit me hard. I had always wanted to speak English, but I was scared. Then I gave myself a challenge. 10 days to learn as much English as I can. Not perfect English, just progress. I got a notebook and wrote on the first page, "I will learn English for 10 days. I will not give up." Day 2. Listening to English every day. I started listening to easy English videos on YouTube. I watched cartoons, stories, and English news for kids. I didn't understand everything, but I kept listening. I learned to say, "Good morning. How are you? Thank you." I repeated those sentences again and again. It felt good. Day 3. Speaking in front of the mirror. This day, I stood in front of the mirror and started talking to myself in English. I said, "Hello, my name is Ram. I live in India. I want to speak English." I smiled, even though I made mistakes. I was shy, but I kept talking. That was my first real step to confidence. Day 4. Learning 10 new words a day. From this day, I started learning 10 new English words daily. For example, book, pen, table, chair, school, happy, sad, water, friend, family. I wrote the words, said them aloud, and made small sentences. This is my book. I am happy. Day 5. Watching English movies with subtitles. I watched a short English movie with English subtitles. When I didn't understand a word, I paused and searched its meaning. I was slow, but I was learning. That night, I understood the sentence, "Never give up." I smiled and whispered, "I won't." Day 6. Practicing with a friend. I called my cousin who knew some English. I said, "Can we practice English for 5 minutes?" He laughed, but said yes. I was nervous, but we talked. "What is your name? What do you like?" It was a small conversation, but I was proud. Day 7. Writing my first English paragraph. I decided to write a short story about my day. I wrote, "Today I woke up at 7 a.m. I brushed my teeth. I went to the shop. I spoke to the man in English." It was simple, full of mistakes, but I wrote it by myself. Day 8. Grammar made simple. I started watching short grammar videos. I learned about present tense, past tense, is, am, are. I said aloud, "It was fun. I was not scared anymore." It was fun. I was not scared anymore. Day 9. A test for myself. I recorded myself speaking in English for 2 minutes. I talked about my name, my family, and my dream to speak English. I watched it and felt proud. I still made some small mistakes, but I was better than before. Day 10. The finish line. On the last day, I called the same cousin again. This time, our conversation lasted 10 minutes. He said, "Wow, Ram, you improved so much." I felt like a champion. That night, I looked at my notebook. I had completed 10 full days of learning. I wrote at the bottom, "I did it." The lesson. I didn't become an English master in 10 days, but I became braver, better, and more confident. I learned that if you give time and love to something, you can improve fast. And today, I say to you, you can do it too. Just start. One day, one word, one sentence. Keep going. That was my English learning challenge and the beginning of a new journey. Day 11 and beyond, a new beginning. Even though the challenge was for 10 days, I didn't stop. Something had changed inside me. I was excited to learn more. Every small success gave me courage. I now had a habit. Every day, I was listening, speaking, writing, or reading something in English. I started waking up early just to read one English paragraph. I even started writing one-sentence diary entries in English. Like, today, I spoke English with a shopkeeper. Today, I watched an English video about space. I am not perfect, but I am learning. A big moment, my first English interview. After a month, I saw a local job interview happening in my area. The company needed someone who could speak basic English. I felt nervous, but I remembered my 10-day challenge. I practiced answers like, "Tell me about yourself. Why do you want this job? What are your strengths?" On the interview day, my hands were cold. But when I walked in, I smiled and spoke clearly. The manager said, "Your English is simple but clear. You are confident." A few days later, I got a call. "You got the job." Tears filled my eyes. I didn't believe it. My 10-day challenge had opened a new door in my life. Helping others learn. After this, my younger brother came to me and said, "Baya, can you help me speak English too?" That day, I became a teacher. I started teaching him everything I had done. Speak in front of a mirror. Watch English videos. Learn 10 words a day. Talk with friends. Write small sentences. Soon, a few more friends joined us. I made a small group. We met twice a week and practiced English. I called it the Brave Learners Club. What I learned from the journey. This journey taught me something powerful. You don't need a big school to learn English. You don't need perfect grammar. You only need time, effort, and a brave heart. I also learned mistakes are part of learning. Every word you speak in English builds confidence. You can learn faster when you enjoy the process. Today, I say this to you. If you're afraid of English, remember my story. I was just like you, scared, unsure, and quiet. But I gave myself 10 days, just 10 days, and that changed everything. So now I tell you, take your own 10-day challenge. Speak, listen, read, and write a little each day. Don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. Because one day, like me, you will surprise yourself. And maybe, one day, you'll tell your own story, just like I did. Spreading the light, helping my village learn English. After I started the Brave Learners Club, something amazing happened. A few neighbors saw us practicing English under the tree in the evenings. One auntie came and said, "My daughter is shy. Can she join you?" I said, "Of course." Soon, children, teenagers, even 1 or 2 elders came. Some of them didn't know any English at all, but I told them exactly what I had told myself on day 1. Don't worry, we will take it step by step. You are not alone. I made a simple rule. 1 word a day, 1 sentence a day, 1 small smile every time we learn. Every evening we sat in a circle. We practiced greetings, we watched funny English videos on a mobile phone, and we read short stories aloud. A special day. English drama at the local festival. 3 months later, our village had its yearly cultural festival. Someone from the panchayat announced, "We need a small play from the young people." One boy from our group stood up and said, "Sir, can we do an English drama?" People laughed. English? In our village? But I smiled and said, "Yes, a small one, just 5 minutes." We wrote a simple story. Two friends lost in a forest. They meet a talking parrot who helps them find their way. We used basic sentences. Where are we? I am scared. Let's follow the parrot. The day of the performance, the stage was small, and our hearts were big. The audience watched silently. Then, they clapped. Loudly. Some even stood up. Today, I continue helping others. And every time someone says, today, I continue helping others. And every time someone says, but I can't speak English, I say, do one thing. Start today. Give me just 10 days. You'll see the magic. The final words of my story. Learning English is not just about language. It is about dreams, doors opening, and believing in yourself. My name is Ram, and I'm not a teacher in a big college, but I am a teacher in the heart. And I'm still learning, still growing, and now I'm passing the light to you. So, my friend, are you ready to write your own English story? A new door, speaking English outside the village. One day, I had to go to the city for a job-related meeting. It was a small computer shop where we were learning digital payments for a government project. I had never spoken English outside my village group before. When I entered the office, the man at the counter said, "Can I help you?" I froze for a second. Then I remembered my mirror practice. I took a deep breath and said, "Yes, sir. I am here for the training. My name is Ram." He nodded and smiled. "Good English," he said. That one sentence made me feel like I could fly. I sat in a room with people from other towns. Most of them were speaking Hindi, but the trainer used English sometimes. I understood almost everything. I wrote notes, asked one or two questions, and even introduced myself to two people during lunch. That day, I realized I can survive in the city with my English. An email that changed my life. After that training, something unexpected happened. One night, I received an email, written in English, asking if I could help with a basic spoken English camp for rural students in a nearby town. The message said, "We saw your drama video. Would you like to volunteer?" I was shocked. Me, an ordinary village boy, teach in another town? I replied in simple English, "Yes, I want to help." I used a translation app for difficult words, but I wrote the mail myself. No one believed it when I told them. The next week, I was standing in front of 30 students, teaching them how to say, "My name is," "I want to learn English." And when they said it, I smiled and told them what I told myself on day one. It's okay to make mistakes. Just keep going. A dream I never knew I had. Teaching others gave me a new dream. I thought I only wanted to speak English, but now I knew I wanted to teach English. I started studying more. I bought a secondhand grammar book. I downloaded an English learning app. I listened to English podcasts while cooking. Every new word I learned, I taught to someone else. That made me remember it better. And now, my goal is clear. One day, I will create a free English learning center in my village for every boy, girl, mother, father who was once scared like me. If you are reading this, dear reader, maybe you feel like I once did. Nervous, unsure, quiet when others speak English. But please believe this. If I can do it, you can do it. If I can speak after just 10 days of practice, you can too. If I, a simple village boy, can teach English to others, so can you. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need big words. You just need one thing, a beginning. So start today. One sentence, one smile, one brave step. And one day, maybe your story will inspire someone else, just like mine did. The village that spoke English. Months passed, and something beautiful started happening around me. People in the market began saying simple English greetings. Good morning. How are you? Nice to meet you. Children at the school began practicing English sentences during recess. A little boy who once said nothing now ran up to me and said proudly, "Uncle Ram, I can say 5 English sentences." Even the shopkeeper near my home now used English numbers. 10 rupees, 15 rupees change. What started as a 10-day challenge for myself had become a movement in my whole village. The English tree, a symbol of hope. One evening, our learners group gathered under a big banyan tree, where we first started. I said, "Let's call this the English tree." We made a small wooden board and wrote on it, "Welcome to the English tree. Here we speak with courage, not fear. Learn one word a day. Teach one person a day." Every Saturday, people came and sat there to practice conversations, read short stories, act out mini dramas, share one new word they learned that week. It became a place of smiles, hope, and dreams. From learner to leader. One day, I got a call from a nearby town school. "Rambaya, we heard about your English tree. Will you come and start something like this for us too?" My hands were shaking. I had never been invited like that before. I went, not as a student, but as a leader. I stood in front of 100 students and told them the same story you've been reading. I told them about my 10-day challenge, my mistakes, my mirror practice, the parrot drama, and the banyan tree. And then I said, "Your English is already inside you. You just have to let it come out." They clapped. Some had tears in their eyes. Not because I spoke perfect English, but because I understood their fear, and I had overcome it. A dream beyond me. Today, the English tree is not just one tree. Other villages have started their own trees too, with their own signs, songs, and groups. We now have a small team of young volunteers, teenagers I once taught, who now teach others. We made a simple promise. No one in our area will be afraid of English ever again. And every time a new learner says, "I want to try," we say with a smile, "Good, let's start with just 10 days. And now, it's your turn. You've walked with me through this whole story, from a quiet boy watching YouTube videos to a speaker, a teacher, a leader. Now I ask you, are you ready to take your own 10-day English challenge? Are you ready to teach one more person what you learn? Are you ready to plant your own English tree, even if it's in your heart? Because this is not just my story anymore. Now, you are part of it, and maybe, just maybe, you are the next one who will change lives. A visitor from the city. One day, something very unexpected happened. A man arrived in our village wearing a formal shirt and glasses, holding a camera and notebook. He said, "Are you Ram? I'm a reporter from a learning magazine. We heard about your English tree and the 10-day challenge. Can we talk?" I was surprised. I had never imagined that someone from outside, from the city, would come looking for me, a simple village boy. I welcomed him, showed him the banyan tree, the notebook full of learners' names, our English flashcards made from cardboard, and even the small drama scripts the children had written. He asked me, "Ram, how did all this begin?" I smiled and said, "With one sentence, I want to learn English. That's all it took. The story that reached the world. A few weeks later, my phone buzzed. A friend messaged me. Ram, you're in a magazine. I opened the link and saw it. A photo of me under the English tree, with kids around me holding signs that said, "We are learning. We are speaking. We are not afraid anymore." And under it, the title, "The Village That Took a 10-Day English Challenge and Never Looked Back." Tears filled my eyes. I wasn't proud because of fame. I was proud because our small effort was now inspiring others far away. Messages started coming from teachers, students, even NGOs. Can you help us start something like this in our school? Can we get your 10-day plan? How did you make learning so simple and joyful? I replied to every single one, and in that moment I knew this was bigger than me now. A legacy begins. We now have a little handwritten book. We call it the English Tree Diary. Every learner who joins writes one sentence in it on their first day. Just one. Some write, "I want to speak. I am scared but excited. This is my first English sentence ever." Then after 10 days, they write again. And you won't believe how powerful those second sentences are. I can talk to my teacher now. I taught my sister 5 words today. I want to become an English teacher too. One boy wrote, "This tree gave me a new life." And so, my friend, you've walked with me from the very first day, from fear to courage, from silence to speech, from one person's wish to a village-wide wave of learning. Now I ask you just one question. Are you ready to take the first step? You don't need a classroom. You don't need a perfect book. You don't even need a banyan tree. You just need one word, one notebook, one brave decision. And who knows, maybe your story will be the next one a reporter writes about. Maybe someone in another village, another country, will say, "I read your story. You gave me hope." Because stories don't end, they pass on. And now I pass this one to you. The 10-day challenge becomes a lifetime mission. It started with a small idea. Can I speak English in 10 days? Now it's something bigger. Not just about English, but about believing in yourself. Even today, I continue learning. Every morning, I still write one English sentence in my notebook. Sometimes I make mistakes, but I never stop. Because now I know, learning English is not a race. It's not about fast results. It's about showing up every day, even when it's hard. Just like how a tree grows slowly, but surely, my English, and my confidence, kept growing too. A voice from the past. One evening, I was sitting quietly under the English tree, reading a simple storybook in English. A boy I had once taught, who had struggled even with the alphabet, came up to me and said in English, "Baya, I got a job in the city. I spoke in English at the interview. Thank you." I looked up. The sun was setting, golden light touching the leaves. I smiled and said only one thing. "You did it. I just showed you the first step." He replied, "Now I will show someone else." That moment was everything. Planting English trees everywhere. Today, we have helped start English trees in 15 villages. Every tree has the same board. Welcome to the English tree. One word a day. One step a day. One dream at a time. If you can speak, you can shine. Some children now dream of becoming teachers, radio hosts, writers, and even YouTubers, all because they found their voice through English. And guess what? Some of them have started their own 10-day challenges with new ideas like English plus drawing, English story nights, say it in English games. The challenge became a tradition, a way to begin, a way to believe. My final words to you: if you followed this story from the beginning, you already know this isn't just about me anymore. It's about you and what you can do with just 10 brave days. So I leave you with this. Maybe you're afraid. Maybe people laugh at your English. Maybe you think, it's too late for me. But I promise you, it is never too late. Not even today. Start where you are. Use what you have. Learn what you can. And just begin. Because you are one sentence away from your own story. And one day, someone else will say, I read your story. And I started learning too. Ready to begin? Would you like me to now give you the printable 10-day challenge plan, a motivational poster for your wall, and a blank English tree diary page to write your first sentence? From one voice to many. Weeks after helping other villages start their own English trees, something incredible happened. One of the teachers I had helped messaged me and said, Rambaya, one of our girls gave a speech in English today. She said, I am not afraid to speak anymore. She cried after finishing. We all did. Sat down with my phone in hand, heart full. I sat down with my phone in hand, heart full. I remembered the first time I spoke one full sentence aloud in English. I remembered the silence, the fear, and then the joy. And now, here was another voice, and another, and another. From one boy's 10-day challenge, a river of voices had begun to flow. A letter that touched my soul. One afternoon I received a letter, a real letter, on paper. It came from a 12-year-old girl in a village I had never even visited. It read, Dear Rampaya, my name is Pooja. I live in Bihar. I was scared to learn English, but I saw your story. My teacher showed us. I tried your 10-day challenge. Now I can speak 8 sentences. I teach my little brother too. Thank you for making me brave. I folded the letter and held it to my heart. It was the greatest award I had ever received. Not a medal, not a certificate, but a child's confidence, earned word by word, sentence by sentence. The dream that never ends. Now I have a new dream, not just to plant more English trees, but to write a book one day. A book filled with stories like mine, stories like Pooja's, real voices from villages across India, and a simple message: you can do it too. And I want this book to be free, given to every child who says, I can't, so they can open it and read, yes, you can. Because this journey doesn't belong to me anymore. It belongs to all of us. Your story starts here. So, dear reader, you've read everything: the fear, the mirror, the banyan tree, the email, the children, the dream. Now, it's your turn. Pick up a notebook. Write your first sentence. Speak it out loud, even if you're scared. Say it with me. I can learn English. Now say, I will speak. I will not stop. That's it. That's your beginning. Because one day, someone may ask you how it all started, and you will say, it started with a story I read, a boy named Ram and his 10-day challenge. Ready? Let's begin together. If you are ready, I will now make a printable 10-day English challenge planner, a beautiful English tree poster, a beginner's diary page, where you can write your first sentences and a short motivational poem based on this story. A global spark from a village flame. After months of sharing our journey, from one tree to many, from fear to fluency, something happened that none of us expected. A group of students from another country, Bangladesh, wrote to us. Their teacher had translated my story and read it aloud in their class. The students loved it so much, they created their own English tree on their school field. They even sent a photo. A group of their class. The students loved it so much, they created their own English tree on their school field. Their class, the students loved it so much, they created their own English tree on their school field. They even sent a photo. A group of smiling children holding a handmade sign. We speak, we learn, we grow. Inspired by Ram from India. That day I stood quietly under my village's banyan tree, the first English tree. I closed my eyes and whispered, one step, one voice, one world. It was no longer just my dream. It was now a living chain of learners, connected across places, languages, and hopes, and receives. A guide for future learners. To help the growing number of learners, I finally completed what I always wanted to make. A simple, powerful guidebook called The 10-Day English Challenge. Start where you are. In it, I wrote, Day 1, speak 3 words aloud. Day 2, write your name, age, and dream in English. Day 3, watch 1 video and repeat 3 sentences. Day 4, stand in front of a mirror and introduce yourself. Day 5, teach someone 1 word. Day 6, learn and use 5 daily use words. Day 7, write your first 4-line story. Day 8, speak for 1 minute without stopping. Day 9, read a story aloud to someone. Day 10, celebrate. Tell the world I did it. I wrote it in simple English with space for notes, drawings, mistakes, because mistakes are welcome, and even space for a small photo under this title. This is the face of someone who tried. Final words from Ram. A letter to you. Dear friend, if you are still reading this, it means something in this story touched your heart. Maybe you've always wanted to learn English. Maybe you're afraid. Maybe you think it's too late. But I want you to know, it's not too late. It's never too late. I began with 1 notebook, 1 word, 1 wish, and now, look how far the journey has gone. Start today. Don't wait for a perfect day. Use your voice, however small, because your voice matters, and your story is just beginning. With hope, Ram. Are you ready to begin your story? Now, it's your turn. Truly, fully. Would you like me to send you? The printable 10-day English challenge guide. The English tree poster for your wall or school. A My First English diary page to write your first words. And a short, powerful poem based on your journey. All I need is for you to say, yes, I'm ready to start. A new dawn, the fire within you. It was a quiet morning. The sun peeked over the trees. I walked to the banyan tree, now painted with colors and words in English and Hindi. As I stood there, I saw something carved in the trunk. From Ram's first word, to the world. I didn't write it. One of the children must have. But it made me smile. Because they understood this was no longer just about English. This was about believing in yourself, helping others rise, turning learning into light. That day I made a promise. not just to myself, but to you, to every learner everywhere. No one should feel alone while learning. Not anymore. 18. The launch of One Voice Learning. With the help of kind-hearted volunteers, we started a small initiative called Closing One Voice Learning. The goal was simple: bring the 10-day challenge to schools, villages, streets, and slums. Print easy books with real learner stories. Create short English lessons in local languages. Celebrate every learner from 6 to 60 years old. The first group to use the One Voice Kit was a school for girls who had never spoken English before. By day 10, one of them stood up and said, "My name is Reka. I am strong. I will speak." And we clapped, not because it was perfect, but because she had found her voice. 10th. The power of just one sentence pains. Sometimes people ask me, "Ram, what if I only learn one sentence? Is that enough?" And I always say, yes, because one sentence can change your future, just like mine did. Your sentence could be, "I believe in myself. I want to learn. I will not stop. I am ready." That one sentence is your seed. Water it with daily effort. Let the sun of your courage shine on it, and soon you will grow into something no one expected, even you. 18. The future we're building together. In the next year, we dream of reaching 100 more villages, translating the challenge into 8 Indian languages, starting English friendship circles where people meet to talk, learn, and grow, building a small online home for you and others to download tools, share stories, and get inspired. All I need is for you to say, yes, I'm ready to start. A new dawn, the fire within you. It was a quiet morning. The sun peeked over the trees. I walked to the banyan tree, now painted with colors and words in English and Hindi. As I stood there, I saw something carved in the trunk. From Ram's first word to the world. I didn't write it. One of the children must have, but it made me smile, because they understood this was no longer just about English. This was about believing in yourself, helping others rise, turning learning into light. That day, I made a promise, not just to myself but to you, to every learner, everywhere. No one should feel alone while learning. Not anymore. The launch of One Voice Learning. With the help of kind-hearted volunteers, we started a small initiative called One Voice Learning. The goal was simple: bring the 10-day challenge to schools, villages, streets, and slums. Print easy books with real learner stories. Create short English lessons in local languages. Celebrate every learner from 6 to 60 years old. The first group to use the One Voice Kit was a school for girls who had never spoken English before. By day 10, one of them stood up and said, "My name is Reka. I am strong. I will speak." And we clapped, not because it was perfect, but because she had found her voice. The power of just one sentence. Sometimes people ask me, "Ram, what if I only learn one sentence? Is that enough?" And I always say, yes, because one sentence can change your future, just like mine did. Your sentence could be, "I believe in myself. I want to learn. I will not stop. I am ready." That one sentence is your seed. Water it with daily effort. Let the sun of your courage shine on it. And soon, you will grow into something no one expected. even you. The future. We're building together. In the next year, we dream of reaching 100 more villages, translating the challenge into 8 Indian languages, starting English friendship circles where people meet to talk, learn, and grow, building a small online home for you and others to download tools, share stories, and get inspired. The gifts I promised you. The gifts I promised you. Since you stayed until the very end, your gift is ready. I've prepared everything you need to begin, or to help someone else begin. Here's what I will now create for you. 10-day English challenge plan. One small practical task each day in simple English for any age. My first English diary page. Space to write your first words. Room for your dream sentence. The English tree poster. A colorful reminder that we learn together. Print it, draw on it, hang it on your wall or school. Certificate of completion. To celebrate your brave 10-day journey. Add your name and proudly say, I did it. A special poem, written just for learners like you, to read every morning before you practice. Would you like me to send these now? Just say, yes, Ram, I'm ready, and I'll prepare everything, just like I prepared it for the first group under the banyan tree. Because now, it's your turn to rise, to speak, to lead, to inspire others. And when your 10 days are over, you won't just speak English, you'll speak with power, peace, and pride. The spark that never stops. The banyan tree still stands in my village. Its branches stretch wide like arms welcoming everyone. Boys, girls, workers, mothers, elders. Every Saturday, we still gather. We say our one new word, we share our one new sentence, and we welcome one new learner. But now, you are part of this tree too, even if you live far away, even if you've never visited us, even if you're just starting. Because the real banyan tree is not in my village anymore, it's inside you, inside every learner who says, I'm ready to grow. Voices from everywhere. Let me share a few messages we've received from people just like you. Zainab, 14, from Pakistan. I was scared to speak English, but I read Ram's story. I told myself, just 10 days, now I speak every day at school. Radha, 62, from Tamil Nadu. My granddaughter read the story to me. We both started the challenge. I now say, good morning, to my neighbors in English. I am proud. Rohit, 9, from Odisha. My teacher made us write our first sentence. I wrote, I want to be a pilot. I will speak English in the sky. These are not just learners, they are heroes. And so are you. The story will never end, because of you. This is no longer Ram's story. It's now your story, your mission, your turn. So here's what we ask of you now. Step 1. Start your own 10-day challenge today. Step 2. Write your first sentence. Even just, I want to learn English. Step 3. Teach one other person. The 10-day challenge guide in simple English. The My First Sentence diary page to start your journey. English tree poster, printable, colorful, yours. Certificate of completion to celebrate your success. And in a poem called I Am a Learner to read every day. Final invitation. Say yes, and I'll send everything. Just say, yes, I'm ready to begin. And I'll share all of this with you, right here, step by step. Together, we'll grow the forest. Together, we'll change the world, one brave voice at a time. Thank you, dear friend. Now let's write your own story, starting today.